Welcome to another episode of Shenke Garage. So in this episode, going to pull the cabin back off the chassis and then coat underneath with the Raptor liner. And then also I've got the paint that's arrived, so we'll do a color reveal also. So we'll jump straight into the video and hope you enjoy. Okay, in the last episode of the HX 1 tonner build, we had all the front end put together, had the bumper, cut and shut that, fitted that up, had the bonnet fitted, everything was all gapped, everything was looking really nice. And unfortunately, I've had to pull everything all apart again. So I've got all these panels over here, sitting ready for the final preparation for high build. Now I also need to pull this cabin off and clearance underneath. Because we built the exhaust so it hugs up close to the body, it is slightly hitting on one of the cross members. So I need to clearance out the cross member. And then yeah, once the cabin's off and I clearance that, I'm gonna give underneath another coat of paint. And back in the piece, I never seam sealed underneath as well. So between having the clearance out underneath there, plus putting the seam sealer, I might as well spray another coat of paint underneath as well. And what I'm gonna do is spray the Raptor liner. So the Raptor liner is a good coating. It'll stick over the top of the KBS. So it does originally have the KBS underneath, but I might as well put the Raptor liner underneath. It hides a lot of imperfections. And then I'm gonna Raptor these inner guards as well underneath where the wheels are. Just with pulling all this apart again, what I've done over here in this section, I've made this, I guess, the final fitment area. And anything that I know is ready to go and I don't have to do anything to it. I've wrapped up and labeled it and it's all ready to go for final assembly. And yeah, all the bolts all labeled up, and anything that had a spacer, I've labeled where that spacer goes as well, just so when it comes time to final fit everything, it's just all gonna go back to how I had it. So I'm gonna continue pulling this cab off. I don't think there's any real point of going into depth with that. I've already made a video on pulling the cab off. So if you wanna check that video out, I'll put a card up in the top right-hand corner on how to pull the cab off. Okay, I've taken that cabin off again and I'm getting pretty bloody good at getting that off now. I've got it sitting on this little dolly that I made up so I can wheel it around. And I've also made up this little jig back in the piece, and it just bolts go through here, bolts to the back cab mounts, and then you can use it to flip the cab on its back end. So it just pivots on there. I can do it by myself. It is a little bit dodgy. Ideally you want two people to do it, but I can manage to get it done by myself. Okay, I've got that cabin flipped up on the back side and I've marked where the exhaust hits. So the X-pipe sits about here and then it angles off and then just hits here. So I'm going to clearance that out. I don't have any decent round tubing. Ideally I'd like to just cut that out and then weld a bit of tube, kind of half round bit of tube. I do have this piece. It's not real, the diameter's not real big. So what I'm thinking is I might use this square section, cut that in half down the middle, and then I might be able to just weld that in. But I'll make a cut, and then I'll just try a couple of different things and see how she looks. Okay, I've got that section clearanced out, and I ended up using this tube that I had. I cut it in half and then kind of hit it to flatten it out, make it a bit wider, and then just welded that in. It should be plenty of clearance there now. It was only just touching on the corner, so this come out like that. It was only just hitting on the corner, so there should be probably another 10-15 mil of clearance there. Should be plenty now. So I'll go on to this other side, get that done, and I've kind of just scuffed all this up, ready to spray the Raptor liner. But before I'll do that, I'll go around and use a bit of seam sealer on areas that I haven't seam sealed. So just sort of around these areas and stuff. Got all this underside all prepped up, ready to go, so I've scratched it all up with a bit of 80 grit sandpaper and some Scotch-Brite, and applied the seam sealer as well. And I've got these inner guards prepped up. I'll spray the underside of them at the same time. And I've got this kit, so this is the Raptor kit, and it comes in 4-pack of 1 litre bottles. I think I'm only really going to need 1 litre bottle. It does recommend 2 coatings, but I reckon I can get it all done with just 1 bottle, one litre bottle. I'll just spray it on a lot thicker. It's already got the KBS underneath it anyway, so I think, spraying 2 coats is probably going to be a bit of an overkill. It's pretty basic. You just, put the hardener in here. So it comes with a tin of hardener. So you basically go up to the line and add it into one of the bottles, shake it up, and then, this gun, you can buy this Schutz gun. I think that's how you pronounce it. Schutz gun, but that screws into the bottle, and then you're pretty much ready to spray. It's pretty basic, and you can get different finishes, and if you want like a more textured finish, you go lower pressure. So it does recommend, I think normal texture is about 60 psi. I'm going to go for a bit more texture, and I'm going to set my compressor to 45 psi and then spray it on reasonably thick. So that's 1 litre sprayed, and it's enough to do underneath the cab here, but I didn't have enough to spray these guards. So what I'll do is I'll mix up another bottle and I'll spray these guards. I'll put a nice thick coating on them, and then any left over I'll spray on the underside here. It is a little bit blotchy in some areas, so I'll go back over with another coat just to fix them areas up. But all in all, it bloody goes on nice and thick, and it's a good coating, hides a lot of the imperfections and gets up like in the little nooks and crannies and stuff. But I'm happy with that. So I'll let this dry. It says to let it flash off for an hour before you apply your second coat, so I'll let this dry for an hour. That is an inner guard sprayed with the Raptor, and there's a nice thick coating on them. I don't think there's any point spraying a second coating on them. It's got the epoxy underneath anyway, and it's got good coverage on them inner guards. And then the leftover from that second bottle, I ended up spraying the underside of the cab. I just gave it a quick once over, and yeah, stoked with how that's turned out. It's going to be a nice, hard, durable wearing coating underneath. But yeah, that Raptor's pretty easy to use. As you can see, you don't really get that much overspray because it's so thick. It doesn't really atomize, and when you spray it, you can just spray it and it gets directly onto the panel. So I don't think there's any real need to get carried away masking stuff up or making any spray booth. You just sort of mask up what you need to. And okay, that is 2 bottles used out of this kit, and I've still got 2 more, and I think that's going to be more than enough to spray the underside of the tray when I build that. I think, yeah, that's going to look pretty awesome with the Raptor underneath the tray. I just got a phone call from my paint supply dude, and my paint has arrived, so I'll go out for a drive and go collect that. The colour that I'm painting the tonner is from DNA Custom Paints. Now DNA, they make some pretty bloody awesome colours. They're Australian owned. Even the paint tins look bloody awesome. How cool do they look? But anyway, what I'm using is a candy base coat, and it's not a traditional candy. One would probably call it a fake candy as such, but the reason why I went the candy base coat is it's just off the shelf stuff, and if I ever need to respray the car again, or if it's in an accident and need to touch some little bits up, then you can just buy another tin, spray it on, and it's a lot easier to match up the color. And I think even spraying the candy base coat is a lot more forgiving than your traditional candy. So the color that I've chosen is Yellow Vortex. And I've been talking about this color for a while. I made an episode with potential colors that I was looking at, and Yellow Vortex was one of them. And in the end, I've settled on this one. So it was a pretty difficult decision picking a color. There's obviously so many to choose from, and color's just something that you want to get right. And I really do like this color. I'll open up the tin in a sec and show you what it looks like from the tin. But the car has always been yellow. So up on the wall here is what color the car used to be. And I don't really like that yellow. That's obviously why I'm not painting it that color. But this is just, I guess, an updated, sort of more modern, blingy type of yellow, I guess. And it's probably a little bit more goldy with some sort of orange in it as well. But I'll open this up and I'll show you what it looks like. So that is the Yellow Vortex. On the camera, it probably looks a little bit more orange than yellow, but I think that's just how the camera is picking up the color. In real life, it definitely looks more yellow. There is hints of orange, but yeah, it's more yellow. I'll put a photo up of a car that has been painted in the Yellow Vortex, and yeah, this car looks pretty bloody awesome in that color. There's a lot of chrome on this car. This car's also got the shaved door handles. So I think it's going to look pretty awesome on my car because it's got the chrome. Mine's got the shaved door handles and the shaved gutters. It's got that nice smooth look. So I think it's really going to make it pop and complement that nice smooth look. So the underside is pretty much all done now. I can tip this back over and then start getting this ready for high build. I think once I can get this in high build, I can start blocking it back, and then I'll probably paint the firewall and around the door jambs in the Vortex, and then it can pretty much go back onto the chassis for the last time. And then once it's on the chassis, I can start getting all these other panels all prepped, get these all in high build, start blocking all them back, and then start piecing it together. Just to give a bit of an idea on what the paint costed, it was $2,160, and that is enough paint there to do the whole cabin, the engine bay, so your inner guards, your radiator support, firewall, and there's also going to be enough there to do the tray. Now I'm going to paint the top of the tray the same color as well. So yeah, there should be enough paint there to do the whole lot. And that was 6 litres of the yellow vortex, 4 litres of the base coat white. So you need to spray a white base coat before the yellow vortex. So 4 litres of the white, 7 litres of the diamond clear, and then the reducers to suit as well. And I bought the paint from All Pro Paints here in Brisbane. They were, yeah, really fast turnaround. I ordered it on the, I think it was like on a Thursday, and I got it on the Monday. So yeah, nice fast turnaround there. So if you like what I do and want to help support the channel, head over to the merch store, and there's various t-shirts, hoodies, singlets, mugs. I'll put a link in the show notes, so click on the link, it will take you to the merch store. Also very close to 5,000 subscribers, so hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Also leave a comment if you have any questions about the build or the tonner or anything in general with the channel. I do try and respond to all comments, so yeah, leave a comment. Might take me a couple of days to respond to them, but I do try and interact as much as I can. And if you are new to the channel, I highly recommend checking out the playlist for this HX1 tonner build. So I'll put a playlist up in this corner, very first episode all the way to the latest episode, so have a binge on that. And yeah, we'll leave it with that, and we'll see you next time on Shenke Garage. Cheers.